Welcome. We are live. Can you hear me okay, girls? You can, right? I'm on my fancy mic here. I want to welcome you today. First of all, this was a big one on our survey. So Trina from Fit for Females, what I did was I asked all of our tribe, our community, our members to fill out a survey and let us know what was going on. And let me tell you, the honesty that rolled in was incredible. So before we start, if you want to jump on to the Zoom meeting, the link is right there. So please do that. I'm also going to put some links in that you can sign up and find more details. So today's topic is all about how to stop emotional eating, eating like crap, eating too much. They're very, very similar. And what we're going to go through today, I want you to get a pen and paper because I'm going to ask you some real-time questions. So jump over to Zoom with us if you want to, because that way you get to be a part of the interactive play. So let me pull this link up for you. So what I want you to do before we start is I'd like for you to grab yourself a pen and paper, and also grab yourself a drink of water or tea. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little work here. I want you to do a little work. I'm gonna pull up here my link so that I can give you this link. So if you are right now on Facebook, join me right here. I'll put the link in. Okay, so there it is for you. There might be a delay. So, who can relate? I've got you girls on Zoom with me. Who can relate to being an emotional eater? Anybody? Who can relate to eating too much? I can. Who can relate to eating emotions?
Okay, so there it is for you.
Hold on a minute. Let me get this quieted down.
Delay.
So we've all been there. And the beautiful, beautiful thing about all of this is you can completely change this. So what I want you to think about right now on a piece of paper, I want you to write down things or times that you know you've overeaten. Maybe you're able to identify it right now. Maybe you completely can't even answer this. So when can you think of a time that you've either overeaten, you snacked too much? Was it late at night? Was it because something happened? Or that you were eating like crap? So I need you to write this down, pen to paper with yourself. Think about anything, any times that you've overeaten, you've emotional eaten, and what did you eat maybe? Maybe you want to jot down like chips when this happened, wine, and it could be drinking too, okay? Hi Jen, I see you guys, amazing. You're welcome to join in our Zoom if you want, otherwise just stay right there on Facebook. So this only works, today is fantastic. Millions of dollars for yourself. You can transform your body, transform your mind, but if you do not put this work in pen to paper, then you're just sitting there watching. You have to go back and rewatch and do this with yourself. So think of a time that you overate. Think of a time when you snacked at night and next thing you know, the bag of chips is gone, the cookie's gone, the ice cream. What was happening? Take it a step further. What was happening at that time? So there's a lot of things attached to emotional eating, eating like crap. It's all the same thing. And the beautiful thing is, ladies, I'm going to teach you today how to stop doing it. How to stop wanting to lose the same 5 pounds, the same 10 pounds, the same 20 pounds, 50 pounds. So what was attached to that when you overate? You might have no answers to these questions, and that's completely fine. So I will recap all of this at fitforfemales.com/FIT. I will send you a video. I will recap it in a blog with steps that you can take to actually do this for yourself, okay? So keep writing. If you have more things, just dump it on the piece of paper. When did you overeat? For me, I know I overdrank when my dad died. I know I overate. I was emotional eating when I was stressed, things that I never really identified with or thought I did. And I want you to think about, the more specific you can be, the better. Maybe right now in this pandemic, you're just grazing. I can't believe the amazing survey responses. You guys got really honest. Like if I read you this stuff, it is awesome. So keep dumping. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little bit of workshop / chatting back and forth. So here's the beautiful thing that you probably already know. Overeating is completely controllable. And when I say controllable, I don't want you to get so caught up in controlling everything, but you can control it because it's based on a feeling, an emotion, and then it has to be based on action. And what do I mean by that? And probably none of this is going to surprise you, but you have to hear it the right day, at the right time, from the right person when you're ready. So what happens is, the same applies to emotional eating and snacking or eating like crap. This ties in together. This is all in a hub together. There's a feeling that happens. So what you wrote down on your paper, you probably have some type of feeling. Does anybody want to share it? Those of you on Zoom, you don't have to. If you don't want to, just shake your head. If you do, unmute yourself completely. Does anyone want to share?
I can.
Go ahead, Shannon.
Want me to?
Yeah.
For me, I recognize like I get mid-afternoon cravings, and I eat good lunch, everything, but it's become a habit. And in the evening, that was never an issue for me before, but now it's boredom. Like we used to be, pardon me, crazy busy with basketball every night and working, and now it's just like, oh, well, I might as well eat something. So those were two with me, but again, it's become a habit because I'm not hungry. I don't need to do it. In the past, though, I could recognize, like, if I was stressed, upset, or anxious about something, I would almost like reward myself. Like I'd be like, okay, well, this is just a bad day. If I have a brownie, it's going to make me feel better. But it does in the moment, but then it becomes, again, a habit, because every time something stressful, upsetting, whatever happens, then I would be like, oh, okay, well, I should drive out to Burlington to Kelly's Bake Shop.
Big plug for Kelly's Bake Shop. Love it.
Yeah, true. But that was also a mental thing, because I'm like, oh, it's Kelly's Bake Shop. It's healthier for me. Yes. But then I would go there and think, oh, I'll get like 6 skinny cookies and stick them in the freezer. And then on the drive home, I'd eat like 3 of them, which was totally no point.
Thank you so much for your honesty. Can anyone relate to that? Those of you on Zoom can go like this. Those of you on Facebook, can anyone relate to that? Come on, I can totally relate to that. I've been to Kelly's and I'm like, I'm going to save this for the kids at home. And then I'm like, whoops, how did I get these crumbs on my pants in the car? Oh my gosh. Shannon completely just nailed it. So I can see on Facebook, everyone saying emotionally angry. Look at their, like the thumbs are going up, Shannon. Like, yep, totally relate to that. Evening time, social, alcohol, potato chips, and boredom. Yep, they are all over that. Awesome, perfect, amazing share. Shannon just nailed it all in the head, and she is able to identify. Look, Jen's like, yes, all over Facebook. Yes. This is the thing. You're either the person right now, today, and either one is fine, that you can identify what Shannon just said. And she said, it's boredom, and I'm doing this, and habits. She's taking all the words out of my mouth. She knows what's going on. But then there's the other person that you can't self-identify yet. You're not there yet. And if I ask Shannon, did you always know how to self-identify with this? What would your answer be?
No.
So you learned to identify, yes?
Yeah, I've learned to identify, and I can totally make the connection from journaling in the past, but I'm still doing it. And yeah. I'm frustrated because I know better, but I feel like, and my workouts are great, but then the more I work out, the more hungry I am, which is a good thing. It's just then it's that old saying, you can't out-train a bad diet.
Amen.
So that I give myself that other excuse is, oh, well, I worked out today, so it's okay if I have ice cream, but it becomes a habit and it adds up.
True. So look at Jen's going exactly. You two are 2 peas in a pod. Tons of us are like this. Thank you, Shannon, so much for sharing. Now, here's the beautiful thing, ladies. If I told you today that I can teach you the steps to completely stop this, would you be like, right on? Yeah, look, everybody's like, yep, I am right on. So here's the beautiful thing. There's one thing that always sticks out in my head, and it's don't reward yourself like a dog. Don't reward yourself like a dog. I actually have sticky notes around the house that say don't reward yourself a dog. We're not animals. And Shannon just said exactly, well, I worked out today. I am entitled to this cookie and this ice cream and this and this and this. I've done that for sure. And there is truth to that, that on the days that you work out and you burn a lot of calories, you definitely want to take your calories in, but we don't want to take the wrong calories in. So the beautiful part of this is if you're in the category with Shannon and you're able to self-identify, you know that you need to stop, and you know what I just said, it's 100% ruled by an emotion. And we'll use Shannon as the example. So if you are the kind of person that is able to identify, oh my God, I'm emotional eating, or I'm grabbing these snacks because I feel bored, lonely, stressed, anxious, I want control, I want to feel happy. If you are that kind of person and you know you're identifying, you have an issue with step 2, which I will share with you. Step 1 is overeating is fueled by a feeling. It's simply a feeling. That's it. And you're in complete control of your feelings, totally. If you're bored, if you're lonely, if you're anxious, if you're stressed, if you can identify that, and I'm going to teach you some steps to do this, you will be able to take control fully and completely. Shannon, in her example where she's able to identify, she has difficulty with step 2. Overeating, snacking too much, grazing all day is fueled by an action. You have to physically walk to get something, or she physically drove to Kelly's because she knows she's getting her fix, right? She knows that it's going to give her something. And what it is it releases dopamine in your brain, and you're like, yes. And then you're like, no. So it's the action. It's the action step. So this is what I want you to write down. Overeating is fueled by an action, right? It's fueled by some type of feeling. And it can be any emotion possible. Sadness, depression, anxiety, stress, happiness, celebration. They're all emotions. What I want you to write down and what I want you to think about, so write this down. What is the feeling that you're having when you want to grab food? Is it hunger? Should be number 1. It's hunger or thirst. Everybody take a sip of water. It's hunger or thirst. If it's hunger, you're actually hungry or you're thirsty, then we're in a good place. But generally speaking, when we eat, it's not the feeling of hunger unless you're hangry. So what is the feeling you're having when you are overeating, reaching for snacks, eating late at night, that you don't really want to eat? If you can identify your feelings, that is tidbit number 1. You can kick the emotional eating and the habits, and you can kick it for good because you will struggle with this. So for example, a lot of people eat because of anxiety. They're feeling anxious about a meeting, about kids, about stress. Right now, it's really high because we're in a pandemic and people are just eating because they're bored, they're anxious, and they're not doing the things they normally do. So let's talk about this. What is the thought that creates anxiety or that feeling? So let's go back to what I said. What is the feeling you're having when you're overeating? You can probably think back to that time. So maybe it was grief, maybe it was loss, maybe it was stress. So use that example. Go back to a time when you know you overate. Maybe it was last night sitting on the couch. What was the feeling you had? You thought, like, I feel bored, I feel stressed, I feel anxious. Then I want you to think about, what is the thought that's creating those feelings? What's the thought? So for me, there's been times where I've been really rushing around and I have to get eating and I'm thinking about it, but I'm emotional and I go, whoa, I'm not even really hungry. I'm just feeling stressed. So Jen is saying anger. Beautiful. This is amazing, you guys. And if you don't have the answers, Don't worry about it. Just write down, what is the thought that is creating that feeling? So for people who eat when they're angry, you know it's anger. I'm chomping on something. I love to chomp celery sticks and carrots. If I'm angry, that's something I will do because I feel really stressed. And if I know that I'm unsettled and I need to eat something, I will do that. You cannot change your thinking attached to your emotional eating or your snacking, grazing, drinking until you understand how you're feeling and thinking first. Eating and drinking is all about food, emotions, and actions and control. You're in control of something. So what's the feeling you have when you overeat or graze or snack on something you didn't really want? What's the feeling? Those of you on Facebook, tell me. Those of you on Zoom, if you want to type in the chat, tell me. What's the feeling? It's anger. You can identify it. It's boredom. Shannon said it. And then what's the thought that goes along with that? So if you're bored, so Shannon, can you think of what goes along with that feeling of boredom? You said things like, I'm usually going and doing stuff with the kids and their activities, so you're busy. So what if I said, Shannon, dive in. What's the thoughts around feeling bored? Does anything come to you?
Well, sometimes it's like Alex and I will have a snack, you know, it's kind of like, okay, well, we'll go get a treat together, or we'll, you know what I mean? Like we have a different element here because there's certain things we can't have in the house, right? For allergies. So then it becomes even a bigger deal and more of a treat, right? Mm-hmm. But sometimes with the boredom, it's just like, gives me something to do, which is brutal because there's a lot of other things. And I already know, like, oh, read a book, do this, go for a walk. And I'll do all those things, but then there's times where it's just like, it's still, you know, it's almost like, oh, it's fun to have that treat or bag of smart food or whatever.
Okay. So that's a great share. And Jen says the food, potato chips, will make me feel better, right? Can anyone relate to that? Amen. Side note, your brain is wired, every one of us, to seek pleasure and avoid pain. Write that down. That is super, super powerful. My brain wants to seek pleasure and avoid pain. And what happens when you eat the potato chips? You avoid the pain of being bored, of being stressed, of being angry, of being lonely, of feeling fat, which so many women tell me, I feel fat, but I keep eating the potato chips. It's because you're trying to avoid the pain of the feelings. And what happens when you eat the potato chips and the ice cream? You're like, whoa, that was a hit. I feel good. You avoid pain temporarily. So it isn't easy. I'm not going to sit here and I tell you like it is. It is not easy to get control of your emotional eating. And it's like a roller coaster. But if you can identify and know and sit back and go, okay, I really want to go and this is a treat and I want to go get myself something. And it's laid out. You know, you have your treat day, or maybe you have a treat at the end of every day. That's fine too, but it's a good quality treat. And you know that at this time, I'm going to eat great today. I'm going to do whatever you got to do, drink your water, work out, all of that stuff. And I'm going to allow myself to indulge in something nice. And you eat it very intentionally. There's a big difference. So we talked about what's the thought that's creating that feeling. And we talked about you not being able to change any of it until you can change your thinking, right? Jen, you know that those chips make you feel better. So now you know that every action is because of a feeling. So if you're walking to go and get it, you have to now do the action of going to get the chips. If you're the kind of person that simply can't control it, I'm going to suggest to you, take it out of the house for starters and keep something that you want to treat yourself with, that you know that this is going to be a treat and you're going to keep something. Don't take everything out because you need to have something there. You got to look how you're feeling, and you're going to become very deliberate, very deliberate. I am feeling this way right now. Why do I want to have this piece of cake and drink and coffee or whatever it is? You're going to become very, very deliberate, aware. You got to conquer and create new habits in your brain now because you've been emotionally eating and snacking for a while. You're reaching for things. So, number one, what we're going to do, tidbit number one, is eat like it's your last meal. Savor it. Enjoy it. This has been so helpful for me over so many years of my life. Sit down and eat like it's your last meal. And in this pandemic, there were days where we were like, we're not sure if groceries were going to come in. It's made me even more mindful. Don't sit down and eat like a lion. And the next time you're reaching for something that's not ideal, that you're reaching for your smart food, you're reaching for whatever, eat it like it's your last meal. Slowly savor it. And notice what feelings go along with you eating that. Because if you're eating broccoli and hummus or you're eating chocolate, there are different feelings that go along with it, maybe. Or maybe you just haven't given it a chance. So you're going to eat like it's your last meal. Don't eat like a lion. Eat like it's your last meal. There's no TV attached to this. There's no phone anywhere near where you're eating. There's no book. There's no work. There's nothing. There's nothing around what you're eating. The next time you indulge late at night or you're emotional eating or you're snacking, I want you to sit, grab the item that you're eating or drinking, and I want you to be present right there. Even if you're eating the worst thing, I am sucking back a bag of smart food and ice cream right now. You're gonna eat it and savor it slowly, like it's the last thing you're ever getting. That's number one. I'm going to give you very simple steps today. Very simple. Number two is don't do it when you're hangry. Everybody knows hangry. I don't know who invented that word, but it is the best. When you're hungry and you're angry, I am the worst. You would never be my friend when I'm hangry. I am nasty. Blood sugar drops. I feel like I'm starting to my brain can't function. I want you to be, hangry is an emotion. I want you to be deliberate. I want you to eat before you feel hangry or bored. So hangry is an emotion. So we can replace hangry with or bored or angry or stressed. I want you to think before and actually say like, am I hungry right now? No, I just want this. You can flip the switch. You want this and you think you deserve it, but those are all emotions. That's a reward. So I want you to be very, very deliberate. Are you dehydrated? Have some water, have a sip, and say, am I dehydrated? Let it settle. Your mind loves to repeat itself. Your brain is on a hamster wheel just going over and over again. It knows the pattern right down to when Christmas Day is coming. It knows that you're going to eat that thing at Christmas, that thing at Easter, that thing on your birthday. It knows. Your body is prepping. Your liver is prepping. Your brain is prepping because it knows what happens, the feelings you get associated with it. So it loves to look for patterns and it wants to take the easy way out. Just like I told you, the brain wants to avoid pain and it wants to seek pleasure in that food. So I want you for this week, I want you to focus on eating like it's your last meal. I don't care. This applies to everything, like drinking your last glass of wine, anything, any food, any drink. I want you to eat it or drink it like it's the last thing you're getting. If you can just become aware and pay attention, and like what Shannon said, sometimes she's like, I don't care, screw it, I'm just gonna have it. I don't know why, but I'm just doing it anyway. I want you to sit down and I want you to think about that being the last time you ate it. How would you feel? What's going along with that? What emotions are striking up? What feelings are coming along with that? If you can identify that and you can notice and reshift it, you can completely change the habit. That's exactly what Shannon said, and it is 100% right. It's just a habit. It's like the habit of not working out. It's the habit of brushing your teeth. you're emotional eating and you're not paying attention, or maybe you are, but you're just completely ignoring it. You're going to pay attention. And I said this last week. I always ask myself, is this helping me or hindering me? And you can write that any way you want. Is this helping me or is this hindering me? I asked on March 20th, 2019, I said to myself, I completely quit alcohol, not on purpose, not because I wanted to. I asked myself one question: is this serving me right now? That's all I said. Is this serving me? I sat down, I literally said, is this serving me? And I completely stopped drinking. I had no timeline. I didn't say I'm never drinking again. I didn't say I'm not gonna have that cookie and I'm not gonna do this. I just said, is this serving me? And I thought in my head, is this serving me? Is this making me feel happy? Do I love how I feel after I drink or eat those chips or have that cookie? Do you like how you feel after you eat that? And maybe your answer is, yeah, I had a great quality something. And you're like, I feel really good. And that was really good for me. But then you're going to get it's like me pulling you in like this. I'm grabbing my rope and I'm pulling you in with the sugar, with the treats. I'm pulling you into my vortex. And now you want more. And you have to decide, is this helping or hindering you? And that goes into the emotions, that goes into the thoughts, that goes into the patterns in your brain. If you can just remember when you're in that moment and you want something to eat, really, is this helping or hindering me? Is this serving me? That's everywhere. I ask that for everything. Is this serving me? Are these clients serving me? Is my business serving me? Are what my kids telling me serving me right now? Is where I am right now, is this serving me? If you can remember to gain control and you can just stop and take a moment and say, okay, I could replace this glass of wine with a hot tea, or I could replace it. I stopped drinking. I replaced the wine cup, I had to have the wine cup. And I replaced it with Perrier or water or kombucha, whatever it was. I had to physically have the glass because it was the habit. It's just like when I stopped drinking a lot of coffee, not a lot. I had 2 or 3 a day. I had to have the mug. I had to hold it, feel it, because it gives you a feeling and a behavior and a pattern. And your brain goes, oh, like when I touch this cup, this is my cup that I drink all my hot things in. It gives me, oh, it's so comforting. So there's things attached that you just have to notice. You got to notice what you're getting from that food, what you're getting from that drink that you're not getting somewhere else. You're getting something from that you're not getting from somewhere else. And you want to know what a big part of it is? It's judgment. You get no judgment because you just eat it and it doesn't tell you nothing. And then after, your mind goes, you shouldn't have ate that. It's no judgment when you eat that, but then you judge yourself. It's not somebody else criticizing you about your work or your this or your that or your workout efforts. There's no criticism going on with that glass of wine, with that sugar, with those snacks late at night. There's no criticism. You eat it and you're like, oh yeah, I feel like a champ. Anybody else want to unmute themselves on Zoom and say anything? I'm going to check in with Facebook. Do you have anything? Can you relate to any of this? Does this make sense, what I'm saying? Shell?
Yep.
She's like this. Yep.
There's,
What's sticking out? Do you want to share? You don't have to share.
I don't know. Just, I'm definitely an emotional eater. Like, that's huge. And I do treat myself like a dog. Oh, well, I did this, so I should get that. Yeah, like, and it's the stuff in the house. I mean, I have stuff in the house. I have more fruit and vegetables now than I ever have in my house. But I find, like, I took the bag of pumpkin seeds and sat here before I ate my lunch and just chowed down probably half a cup of pumpkin seeds at 280 calories per quarter cup. Like, you know, just there's no, oh, well, I'll just eat this because, well, you know, I just did a workout and I'm hungry. I was hungry. I definitely was hungry. But before that, I made myself a smoothie with a bunch of stuff in it too. And I mean, it's just, you think you deserve it.
Ladies, write down on a sticky note. I literally have them in my desk and I put them all over the house. You are not a dog, so don't reward yourself like you are a dog. Yeah, you earn certain things, but stop feeling like you need to earn it. If you want to eat it and it is justified, eat it and then let it go. I ate this whole bag of chips and now I'm letting it go. And it's a great idea for you to write down how you feel after you ate it. I gave this homework last week. If you can attach your emotions and understand what is going on, you know now, because I told you, your brain wants to avoid pain and seek pleasure. Write that down. Your brain wants to avoid pain and seek pleasure. And how does it do it? It goes back into the old comfy covers. It grabs its snacks and its drinks and it says, yeah, that's the feeling. Thank you. And then the crash comes. So I want you to spend some time this week until we meet next time. I really want you to give thought to the feelings that are attached to that food. Like actually write down what you're feeling and thinking when you eat it. Eat it. And then have your journal notes. So I said, I don't want you to have any TV, no phone. I don't want you to have anything. But I would like you to have a little piece of paper and a journal. And you mow down on those chips, be honest with yourself. How did it feel? How were you feeling right before it went into your mouth? So before you get it into your mouth, whatever your habit is, late night eating, snacking, emotional eating, how are you feeling right now? I'm going to get it. I'm jonesing for a fix. Write down all the feelings. And then eat it. And there's no guilt attached to it. Just eat the food and say, yep, I did it. I gave in and I ate it. Then I want you to write down how you're feeling when you're in the high of the food. You're in the high of that food. How does it feel in it? Yes, I'm feeling high. It's like a workout. You're in the high. You feel good. You're revved up. You're like, yes. And then if you never worked out again, after your emotional crash with your food, how do you feel then? So you really do it 3 times and it's quick. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling stressed. Kids are acting like orangutans and the world's crazy. You just jot down some words. And I want you to eat like it's your last meal. I want you to be mindful and really think, this is the last food that I'm going to get. How does that feel? Savor it. Because if you can at least slow down when you're eating it, what happens is ghrelin kicks in, tells you you're full, and you'll eat a little less. So it's a very slow process, but it's a very mindful process. And if you cannot get control of your emotions and your actions, then you cannot make changes. You won't be ready. So you have to be able to get control of the emotions that I feel this way and I want to grab this, and then the action of going to the fridge or going to the pantry, going to the wine cabinet, whatever it is you're doing. And the beautiful thing is you can see there's people on here right now that are just like you, that have been through it, that struggle. So let's tackle this. Because if you can decide that you're not a dog and food is not your reward, food is fuel. That's another thing that I would write down. Food is fuel. It's to give you energy. If you could see your insides and your brain after you emotional eat and your sugar, it is fantastic. I've actually seen scientific reports on the brain and what it does to you. It's just emotional. Could you replace, like, what other thing do you get? This is an extra above and beyond, so just close your ears if it's too much. This is an above and beyond. What could you get that same feeling from food that you get somewhere else, doing something else? Could it be painting, writing, journaling, squatting? Do you need to just punch a bag or the wall or something? What gives you the same feeling? This is a good one for you, Shannon, because you're very in touch with your emotions. If you're not there yet, don't worry. This is a slow process. Start with one tidbit. Even if you just sit down and eat like it's your last meal, that's going to help you. I want you to really start thinking about your emotions. And I'm going to tell you, it gets worse before it gets better. It's like therapy. It gets worse before it gets better. because you have to feel stuff. You have to go through what it is that's going on, and it's dirty laundry, it's luggage, it's baggage. You have to feel that stuff. I hope this helps you. I want you to tell me on Facebook, and those of you that are on Zoom, you're going to stay on for a moment. I want you to tell me what tidbit you're going to, what takeaway that you're going to try and implement. What are you going to try and implement? What just jumps at you right away? It can be something I said, or it could be an aha moment that you just had completely opposite to anything I said. I want you to tell me in the comments below. And those of you that are on Zoom, I want you to go to Facebook and tell me if you're on Facebook. What is going to stand out with you? A week today, we'll touch base, we'll see how you're doing, and we'll go from there. Remember, emotional eating is just a feeling. And you can change your feelings, because you know that when you felt depressed or sad or angry, you changed the feeling, right? You know that you changed that feeling in the past. So you can do it with your food. So I've got on the chat here. Let's see. I see that I'm going to eat slower. Amazing. I'm going to eat slower. That is awesome. Ladies on Facebook, I'm going to say goodbye to you. If you want to jump on for our last few minutes on Zoom, you're welcome. The link is right here in Facebook. I will see you next time. I want you to take action. It's not about sitting here and watching me. It's about sitting here, watching me take in this free coaching right now and implement with consistency and action. I'll see you guys soon. You're amazing.